Ari, this is Marvel Zombies 4, number 4, and I had no intention of reviewing this. I got this issue out for my recent 5 good comic book covers video, and I thought it might be a kick to read just the 4th and final issue of this mini-series. I like this series, Marvel Zombies 4. It is a good mini-series, but there is a big caveat to that, because even though it is called Marvel Zombies 4, the title is more of a springboard for other ideas. And this is really just a backdoor pilot for a horror-themed team called the Midnight Cowboys. They were a thing in the 90s, and this was trying to bring them back. And I think it is a shame that the Midnight Cowboys, this version of them, didn't get any play outside of Marvel Zombies 4. First up, we have this cover by Gregory Landsman. Sexy cover with a sexy woman. This is Jennifer Hale. She is one of the Midnight Cowboys. She is the sexiest one of the Midnight Cowboys. And I didn't point out in the covers video, but Dormammu, he is also on the cover. This is a whole plot thing in this book, and there is a lot of plot going on. Very little of it has to do with zombies. I think there's like 2 zombies in the whole series. The Midnight Cowboys, they have been sent to investigate and quarantine and eliminate the zombie virus, which has manifested in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean, depending how you want to pronounce it. But the virus, it has evolved, it has mutated, and it is now a cloud that rains blood, and the blood eats through your skin, and it kills everything it rains on. Barely zombie stuff. There is some interesting subplots with a bad guy, a drug lord, trying to sell the zombie virus as a weapon of mass destruction. And another subplot is Jennifer Hale. She is a magic user, and things have gotten so bad for the Midnight Cowboys that she has pledged allegiance to Dormammu and the dark arts. Each issue begins with a video of each of the members of the Midnight Cowboys. This time it is Satan's son. I like this character, or rather I liked him before Warren Fallis got his gropey hands on him and made him into a terrible piece of shit. And I like how this one kind of tries to resolve that stuff. His last will and testament here is just saying sorry to the wife that Warren Fallis had him horrifically abused. He doesn't try to defend himself or justify it. He just says sorry. And then there is some actual zombies. But didn't get your hopes up. This is more about this team of unlikely heroes averting a global catastrophe, while Jennifer Hale is being used as a vessel for great evil. Dormammu, he wants to use the cloud virus thing. He wants to bend it to his will and use it to gain dominance over Earth. It is like a flesh-eating virus that has evolved into a cloud. And the zombie virus, It crossed over to the main Marvel universe through a Zumba version of Dead Pills and this all new strain of the infection or whatever. It began with him. And here are the two Zumbas who do feature in this series. We have got Zumba Dead Pills, who is just a Ed. And then we have got a Zumba who isn't even one of these Zumbas. He is a voodoo Zumba. I do get the feeling this was almost here as a requirement to use the Marvel Zumbas brand for what is a Midnight Cowboys miniseries. The Voodoo Zumba, he has some plot use, but the Zumba Dead Pills, he isn't really important. He's just there to offer some comedy, and I think that is because the Marvel Zumbas series, originally they were all comedy sort of stuff, and then Marvel Zumbas 4 comes along and suddenly gets deadly serious and becomes a really good book about anything but Zumbas. And we have a great bit. This is a fantastic scene, and quite honestly the best that Satan's Son has been written in years. He confronts the Dormammu possessed Jennifer Hale, and then he attempts to perform an exorcism on her. Also, the two other members of the Midnight Cowboys, they are Werewolf at 8 and Morpheus, the living Dracula. But we'll skip over them because Dracula's scare me. This scene with Satan's Son, this alone is worth getting the comic for. It is a really good scene, and that isn't taking into account the really good art or the fun writing or the rest of the story. And we have spent the last few pages focusing all on Dormammu. It really is just a mini-series they snuck out, releasing under the Marvel Zumbas banner. One thing I do like about this, and Marvel Zumbas 3, which is by the same creative team as here, they have Morpheus, the living Dracula, and even though the Draculas, they spook me silly, I like that Morpheus's involvement. It actually makes sense. He is meant to be a scientist, like his background is he is a scientist. He is an expert on bloodology. He is like a blood specialist. And them scientific skills are exactly what he is valuable for in these stories. He can develop a cure and he can study the viral infections and stuff like that. If you're going to have a living Dracula in your stories, at least provide a justification like that. This isn't quite a Zumba either. This is the avatar of the cloud virus. It does sound so bad and ridiculous now. This whole plot features an evil cloud. But it makes sense and I really like it. The cloud, the virus let's call it, it animated an avatar from a bunch of corpses. And last issue it fought against Swamp Thing, and it seemed to kill Swamp Thing. So now Swamp Thing is back to destroy it. There is probably a good reason most people don't jump in at issue 4 of a 4-issue mini-series. And the resolution to this is to bond this virus, the evolved infection that became a cloud. They bond it to the voodoo Zumba so that he is carrying it around inside him forever and he'll never die, so this biological weapon will never be released. And this is a really good mini-series. It is a great horror book with some lesser utilised characters from that corner of the Marvel universe. The writing is fun, the characters are handled very well, it is exciting and the art is really good. And after this, the Marvel Zombies books just went back to being comedies about Peter Parker eating Mary James. These Midnight Cowboys never appeared again, but I like to imagine there is an alternative reality out there somewhere where they got their own ongoing series and it was probably cancelled at 9 issues. But it was good. I recommend Marvel Zombies 4. It is great fun. It is the second best Marvel Zombies series. And the best one if you were tired of zombies, because there's barely any zombies in it. Although, come to think of it, the best one technically also didn't have zombies in it either. They were carnivorous undead clones. The Fantastic Four film kind of ruined stories about evil clouds for an old generation, but this manages to pick up the slack and have an evil cloud without it seeming too pathetic or goofy. I rate this 7 thumbs up.